Hey guys, welcome into today's speed reviews video. In my speed reviews videos, I always start with a bare face and I start applying the makeup to my face in categories of how I would normally apply them, and I start talking about them, but I do show you guys cutaways. I don't put everything on my face. I can't. There are 50 different items here. There are more than 50, but I always include duplicates or of a set of the same type in a different shade as one item. So untechnically 50 items. So I cannot get them all on my face, but I do usually put on my favorite products so you guys can see how they look. I break these into 3 different categories. So the first category is I absolutely love this product. I think it's a huge purchase for me. The second one is obviously a pass. I just don't feel like the product is worth spending your money on or adds really anything to my collection personally. And then the third category is makeup graveyard. I do keep some containers in my closet where I will keep items that are new releases that I don't care for, or just products that I think maybe aren't new releases, but they're generally hyped in the industry of makeup. So I will keep for reference, but I do not use them in my personal collection, so I call those items makeup graveyard. So I always indicate which of these items fall into one of the 3 categories. These videos are usually on the longer side, so I hope you enjoy a little bit of a longer style video. If that sounds fun to you guys, buckle in, stay tuned. I've broken these into categories based on how I'm going to apply them to my face. I want to say about half, maybe a little bit more than half of these items are actually new releases and the other half aren't. I'm going to indicate to you guys which ones are new releases and which ones aren't. And of course I will be listing or linking everything in the description box, including shade names. I always include the shade in there for you guys. So the first one that I want to throw on just to hydrate my lips is a lip mask from W7. This is the Strawberry Overnight Lip Mask. W7 is a brand out of the UK that actually dupes a lot of high-end brands, so I thought that this was a dupe for the Laneige lip mask, the original, but I prefer this more than the Laneige. And my personal preference is that I really like thick lip masks, something that I feel is just extremely hydrating on my lips. The Laneige one was not my favorite. I think it's a little bit of a thinner formula, so I really enjoyed this one. If you can get your hands on W7, I do believe they're sold on Amazon, they're sold on CVS, I believe they're sold on Walmart. I have them in my local CVS now, so plus you can get it on their direct website. I really enjoy this lip mask. I actually keep it up here on my filming station so that I can put it on when I'm filming videos to really give my lips hydration. And for whatever reason lately my lips have been extremely dry. I think this is a non-sticky formula that's really thick and hydrating. So this is a purchase from me. I have a ton more in the lip category, but I did want to throw that in. That is my only lip mask product. So I want to go into eyebrows next. So I have one that's a new release and one that isn't a new release. I'm going to talk about the one that I am not going to put on first. This one is from Too Faced. This is called the Super Fine Brow Detailer. It's the Ultra Slim Brow Pencil. And this one is in the shade Taupe. I really enjoy this pencil. I always have a hard time finding taupe shades in brow products, on top of finding a formula that I really like, but I think the formula on this is really good. It does not claim to be waterproof. That's the only thing that I don't like about it, but I think it's a really good cool tone taupe shade, and I think it's a really good formula. And I have seen these on sale. I did pick this up at TJ Maxx, so they may be phasing this out because it was on sale at Ulta's website, but I think it's a really good brow product and I really like the shade. Sometimes I get really disappointed in the taupe shades, so I think that one is a good one. That's a purchase for me. The next one that I have is a new release. This is from Kosas. This is called the Brow Pop Nano. It's in the shade medium brown, so it's a little bit darker than the taupe shade from the Too Faced brow pencil. I think this has a very specific purpose. If you like really, really fine, very thin brow strokes, it's really nice. If you like to create hair-like strokes in the front of your brows, I think it's really good. For me, I outline them and then I fill them in, so for me it takes a little bit longer. As far as the formulation goes, it's a little bit of a drier pencil, but it is creamy enough that it doesn't tug or pull when I'm putting it on. I think it's good. I think it's a purchase for a very specific purpose. I think that if you do like those very fine detailed brow strokes, then I think it's actually fantastic because it's so thin. It's the thinnest brow pencil that I've ever had. I like this. I just wouldn't repurchase it for the way that I do my brows. So for me, I'm definitely going to use this up, but I am going to pass repurchasing it because it's just not my style, but that would be the only reason. Otherwise, this is a purchase from me. I want to move into eye products next. These next ones are a pair, so I count them as one. These are the new eyeshadow sticks from Rare Beauty. These are called the All of the Above Weightless Eyeshadow Sticks. I have the lighter shade in Integrity and I have the darker shade in Compassion. I kind of think these are makeup graveyard. I don't think they're necessarily a bad formulation. It's just that the darker shade, you really have to build up to really get good pigmentation. And when you do build it up, they can get a little bit patchy. So I've been trying to go in with like one coat and then kind of just blend it out, but you need a really dense brush. They're just not the easiest formula to work with. They tend to dry a little bit quickly. And then the lighter shade in Integrity, it's a little bit chunky on the lid. I think that these shadows are better if you can just lay them down without blending them. but then they do look a little bit chunky. I think these are makeup graveyard. I don't think that these are the best formula of eyeshadow sticks that I have tried before. I have tried a couple, not many, but I can tell you the Laura Mercier Caviar sticks are a lot smoother. They're easier to blend in. They give you good pigmentation. These are just lacking a little bit in a couple of different areas. So as much as I love Rare Beauty and as much as I love Selena, I don't think that these were the best formulation from her. So I do think these are makeup graveyard, unfortunately. I'm going to continue on with the rest of the eye products just so we can finish them up before we do our base. So the next one I believe is a fairly new release, and it was part of a haul that I did from Moira Beauty. This is their glitter liner. I have mine in the shade Pinky Promise. I was a little bit skeptical about this product because of the brush and because there are kind of bigger chunks of glitter throughout the product, and I didn't think they were going to deposit onto the eye to really make much of a difference, but it does. I think the brush is actually not bad. I don't think it hinders it from applying to the eye smoothly and easily. I think it's really cute and really pretty. I also really love the formula. I think that the formula is easy to apply. It dries pretty quickly. The glitter particles really do transfer. I'm a huge fan of Moira Beauty eye products, all of them. I haven't tried one that I really didn't like, so I think this is a purchase if you like to have a little bit of fun with your glitter liner. I think this is a good one. Additionally, I also think that this shows on top of brighter eyeshadows. That was also a concern of mine. It's basically checked all the boxes of a pretty good product overall, and I don't even mind that brush tip, so I think this is a purchase. If you like something like this, I think it's pretty cute and cool. The next one that I have is part of a full face that I purchased from Relove Beauty, and I'm pretty sure there's 2 more items in here. In my last video, I did say that there was no more of the Relove products, but I did have 2 more that I was testing that I didn't even realize because I had them over in my vanity in a drawer, and I kind of keep pulling them open, and then I'm like, oh, okay, there's more. So I believe these are the last 2, but this one that I'm going to go over with you is an eye product, and this is one of their water activated liners. I have mine in the shade Agile. You basically get 2 different colors. You get a darker pink and then a lighter pink. This does come in a glass bottle. If you guys don't know about Relove, they're pretty affordable. I think their most expensive thing in their line is like $6. Although in a lot of places you can get most of their stuff for like $2.99. Of course, sometimes the prices vary depending upon where you get them. As far as the water activated liner goes, the quality is really good. It's pigmented, it dries quickly, but it's smooth. You actually get good opacity with it. It's a decent water activated liner for I think $3. Again, in a glass jar. So if you like water activated liners, I think this is a purchase. I don't personally grab for them that often, so I think for me it's a little bit of a makeup graveyard item, probably not something that I would reach for on an everyday basis, but if you guys like water activated liners, these are definitely worth checking out for their price point. I have another liner from Rare Beauty. This is a new release. This is called the Perfect Strokes Longwear Gel Eyeliner. I have mine in the shade Compassion. So the same shade as the deeper shade of the eyeshadow stick. She came out in 3 shades. So Compassion, which is more burgundy. She came out with a black and a brown. I think these are really good quality. I have been using this in my waterline quite a bit. I think the only problem with this is that the packaging is a retractable and it does not go back down. It's the kind that kind of clicks when you twist it up, and then I can't get it to go back down. If you can hear it, it's like it's either broken or that's how it was normally designed. And so I kind of feel like that's a bad product design, but the formula is really, really nice. Let me show you guys. It's pretty budge proof, which is what I want, because when I use liners, I use them in my waterline. I don't usually use them on my upper lid, and it's a very tough formula to get out. So it is a long wear, it is waterproof. Formula is fantastic. I'm just not a huge fan of the component, but if it ends up just being my component and they're not all made like that, it's definitely a purchase even with the component issues. I think it's a really good eyeliner and a good launch from Rare Beauty. The next one that I have is semi-new release. This was from Give Beauty. She calls it the Line It Up 24-Hour Gel Pencil Eyeliner, and I have mine in the shade Greener Pastures. I have done a video already talking about this product because I picked it up in a different shade, but that other shade was terrible. It didn't deposit into my waterline. It kept getting streaky and patchy. I really didn't care for the formula. But I kept this shade out and I continued testing it, hoping maybe it was a little bit different of a situation, and I think that it is. This one actually deposits into my waterline quite nice. I don't know why there's a little bit of an inconsistency in the shade. That seems a little bit silly, but I can vouch for Greener Pastures anyway, that it actually deposits quite nicely. It's quite pigmented, it wasn't getting streaky, and it is long wear and really budge proof. Again, I tell you guys, I like the budge proof aspect of it because I really only use these to put them in my waterline. I don't think this is makeup graveyard. I actually immediately decluttered the first one. So because this formula is really good and because I like colorful liners when I do colorful eyeshadow looks, I think this is a purchase. This next one is not a new release. It is from the brand Caliray. This is called the Surf Proof Easy Glider Eye Definer. This one is the long wearing waterproof eye pencil in the shade Night Diving. It is the kind that you sharpen, which usually isn't my favorite. I do like a retractable liner, but I can get over it because I think the formula is really good. I need to branch out because I use my Sephora gel retractable liner all the time and I need to find something else, not just that one. I don't think it's bad to stick with the products that you love, but I would like to find a different one so I can kind of like rotate between them. But I've been struggling so much because a lot of them, even though they claim to be waterproof or non-transfer, they just aren't. By the time that I blink, when I tightline with them, they do transfer to my lower lash line, and this one doesn't. So I'm super excited to have an addition to my collection that I didn't just test and immediately declutter. So I am loving all of Caliray products. I think this is a huge purchase for me. The next I'm counting as one, but it's basically the whole release from Moira Beauty. These are new releases. These are their Supernova Multi-Chrome Gel Eyeliners. I think they came out with 10 shades. I only was able to get 9 because when I went to purchase them, one of the shades was sold out. I cannot remember the shade that I don't have, so I will be listing the shades that I do have in the description box. And if you guys are interested in seeing which shades tie to which liner, I do have a short on my channel that you can go check out, which I swatch them out individually while calling out the names. So the formula on this is really good. I think that there's some inconsistencies. Some of them are more multi-chrome than others. Some don't have a really big flip and some do. The formula is just really good though. They show in the waterline in every single shade. I have tested them all out. I think they're fun. I think they're different. I think they're inexpensive. So I think that they are a really good purchase. Moira just has fun, I feel like, when they create eye products. They have such interesting, unique, really good quality stuff. I haven't been disappointed in a single eye product that I have tried from Moira Beauty. So if you guys like fun liners that you use in the waterline, these are very, very good. But let me mention to you guys one thing about these. They are the most waterproof thing on the planet. I did my swatch on my short. I couldn't get these off for 2 days because I let them sit for too long. So they are very non-budge. I'm just gonna let you know that for better or for worse. I like a non-budge product. I don't find that I have any real issue getting it off with makeup remover in my waterline, but on my hand it was extremely tough. So if you're into stuff like this, you guys, it's a purchase from me. We are on into foundation. I have 3 total. I have 2 new releases and 1 non-new release. So I'll go over the non-new release first. And I'm only gonna put on 1 today because they're such different formulas. So the first one that I wanna talk about is from Guerlain. This is called the Lait Essential Natural Glow 16-Hour Wear Foundation with SPF 20. I have mine in the shade 00C. It's like a full coverage foundation. It does have a slight fragrance to it. A lot of luxury beauty products do. I think it's a decent foundation. I was reaching for this quite a bit when I first got it, but I will tell you it is on the dry side. It's definitely a matte foundation that's a little bit drier, doesn't have a ton of hydrating properties. So if you have more dry skin, I don't think you would like this. However, if you have more combo to oily skin, I think this is a really beautiful foundation if you can kind of stand like the fragrance that's included in it. I really wasn't expecting it to be as matte as it was because it says natural glow. I feel like this is makeup graveyard for me though. I have so many other foundations that I really like, especially 2 that I have tried recently that are very similar in terms of longevity and kind of a matter finish that I think beat out this one from Guerlain. I don't think it's bad from Guerlain, but for me personally, I just found other foundations that do a similar thing that I think do better. Speaking of which, is a new release from another luxury beauty brand. This is their foundation from Prada. It's called the Reveal Foundation, and I have mine in the shade LN15. This is a refillable foundation. It does come in plastic packaging, and then on the inside is the canister that is completely glass. It is 1 fluid ounce. It does come with a pump. The lid is pretty substantial and weighted, but the bottom is definitely plastic. Having said that, it is a beautiful foundation overall. I can get over the packaging anytime. The foundation is so beautiful and semi-matte on my skin. It's long wearing. It looks like skin. It's more of a medium buildable formula. It's perfect for me. The only thing is it has a really strong fragrance, which I think will turn a lot of people off. And the third ingredient in here is alcohol, and that does irritate some people's skin. It doesn't personally irritate mine. I was reaching for this over and over and over again. If alcohol doesn't irritate you, if fragrance doesn't bother you, and you have more I don't know, normal combo to oily skin, then I think this is a huge purchase. This is not makeup graveyard for me. It is a beautiful, beautiful foundation. I fell in love with this and I've kept reaching for it. I'm gonna put this on, but I wanna mix it in with a product that I'm gonna talk about after I talk about this next foundation. So I'm holding off for just a minute and I will do a cutaway to show you what I kind of mix it with this product. So I wanna go into the next foundation. This is also a very new release. This is from Hourglass. This is called the Veil Hydrating Skin Tint. I have mine in the shade 4. I finally found an Hourglass complexion product that I get along with. And honestly, it actually took me 2 times to test this out before I realized that I really, really enjoy it. I think this is best with a really light application. I think the more that I built it up, the kind of drier it looked, a little bit texture on my skin. But when I go in with one layer as just a very light skin tint and not trying to build this formula up, it is super beautiful. It is super skin-like. I have never been a fan of Hourglass complexion products. I just haven't found one that works for me until this one. I think this is a huge purchase if you like light coverage. So let's go into the next product. This is also from Caliray and I am going to mix it in with the Prada foundation and put it on for you guys. This is called their Glow Boosting Drops for face and body. I don't think this comes in a shade, it's just one shade and it's very scary at first. I think it looks super deep, but I have mixed this in with so many foundations and it doesn't seem to change the color of the foundation in any way. It just adds this really healthy glow and I've mixed it in with so many different foundations. It works really well with every single foundation that I have paired it with without like deepening the color in any way. It's just glow boosting. And I think that it's really pretty, especially with a matte foundation, but I don't find that it changes the formula of the foundation in any way. I'm usually not a fan of these kinds of products, but I feel like it's so beautiful and so lightweight and just adds the right amount of glow to a foundation that I've just become a really big fan of this. And so far, I don't think I found anything from Caliray that I don't like. So if you like products like this, I think this is really good. It is a very strong scent of coconut though. If you guys get bothered by the scent of coconut, you would not like this. It's very, very strong. I think it smells delightful and like summer-like. I just really enjoy that. I will say though that it's an extremely liquidy formula and the product will just like kind of slip out with the dropper without you actually squeezing it. So you do have to be really careful. That's kind of annoying about it. And I think you can go in light or heavy with this. I have done like 4 drops. I've done 1. I've done 1, 2, 4, and I think it's amazing. So I think this is a purchase. I have been reaching for this a lot actually. I'm gonna go into concealers next and then I'm gonna throw on mascara actually. The 2 concealers that I have are both new releases. So the first one that I have is from Makeup by Mario. He calls this his Surreal Skin Awakening Concealer. I have mine in the shade 160. I really do like this product. I don't think it's revolutionary. I haven't found an absolute love for it over some of my favorite concealers, but I do think it's really good. It does not crease on me. I think it's light medium coverage, but I also think this is a product that's buildable, and that's a distinction that I like to make because I feel like there are some concealers I can't build because once I do, they actually get too heavy and then they start to crease. So I think this is a buildable formula. I have to mention, it doesn't beat out a lot of my other concealers, but this is gonna go into my regular makeup collection. This is not makeup graveyard for me. I don't think it's like super perfecting under the eyes, but it never creases and it does look more hydrating as the day goes on, and I think that's key. I think that I want my under eye to look more hydrated without the concealer fading off, and this does that. So if you're a fan of Makeup by Mario or you deal with drier under eyes, I think this is a purchase. The next one, not so much. This one is a new release from Makeup Forever. This is their HD Skin Smooth and Blur Undetectable Concealer, and I have mine in the shade 13N Neutral. I forgot to mention on the Makeup by Mario one, it has a flat paddle. So does the Makeup Forever one. I like a flat paddle. I think this is a good concealer if you go in with a very light hand. I have found that if I try and build this up or I put too much on, it will crease. So not only do I not build this up, I actually only put on a very light layer of this. Then it's good. I think that this is not going to be my most reach for concealer. I prefer the Makeup by Mario one, but I can say that this isn't bad with a light layer. So it's kind of makeup graveyard for me. It's definitely going to stay in my permanent collection, but I don't think it's going to be one of my most reach for concealers. But it's non-creasing, so it's not going to leave, if that helps you guys. Let's move on into mascaras. I have 2 and they're both new releases, and I am going to put both of them on because I love both of them. So I'm already going to tell you guys these are both purchases for me. So the first one is from KVD. Beauty. This is called the Full Sleeve Mascara. This is a tubing mascara. It's got the plastic short bristle wands, which are my favorite. That might not be everybody's favorite. I personally like a wand like that because I feel like not only can you get really close to your lash line, but it's a much cleaner application overall. It's a pretty wet formula, but it's so lightweight. I don't know that I have one this lightweight in my collection. I think that I can get away with one coat with this because it's just so pigmented. The thing is, I think it gives me like this really clean lash. There's nothing clumpy or chunky about it, even though I feel like you can build this up to give yourself good volume. Overall, it is such a good mascara. I have been loving this. I highly recommend this if you have similar preferences as me. This is a huge purchase. The next one, like I mentioned before, you guys, this is a new release. This is from Beauty Bay. This again has one of those plastic short bristled wands. That is my personal preference. I don't like overly fluffy ones because I feel like I make such a mess, and I feel like I can get really close to the lash line with this. It's a different formula than the KVD one. It has more tack to it. It's a little bit of a drier formula, but same thing. I still feel like with this wand, I can get a really clean application. It still separates my lashes. It's still pigmented enough. That's a big thing for me. I have really fine lashes. They're very light colored too, so I don't feel like you see them very much if I don't have a really pigmented mascara, and I feel like this one gives me pigmentation. It's not as clean as the KVD one, but oh man, I still really love it. I don't have a lot of Beauty Bay products in my collection, and I'm thoroughly enjoying this, so this is a purchase from me. Okay, let's move on into bronzers. I have, how many are new releases? One, I think, is a new release, and I'm gonna put on, I think, 3 different ones, but I have 5 here total. So the first one is from NARS. This is their matte bronzer in Laguna. This is an old product, but I have never tried the Laguna shade in the powder bronzer before, so I picked this up. I do have a mini, but it's like got shimmers in it, so it's not exactly this kind of matte formula. I think the shade is maybe a little bit too deep for me in this Laguna shade. I know this is the most popular, but the formula is silky smooth and soft. Like, man, it is silky smooth. It is basically like touching liquid silk. So if this shade works for you, I think it's a really good product. This is a purchase from me. For me personally, I feel like I can make the shade work, even though it is a little bit on the deeper side. The next one that I want to go over with you guys is not a new release. This one is from Doll Beauty. This is their Gimme Sun cream bronzer in the shade Light. As the name suggests, it's more on the warm side, so it's supposed to be more of like a sun-kissed looking bronzer, but I don't think it's overly orange in shade. I think it's actually beautiful for fair skin. I like this on the cheeks. I don't necessarily love this all over the forehead. I would prefer to put something more neutral toned on the forehead and kind of apply these to the cheeks, but this formula is delightful. It is super creamy. It's easy to work with. It doesn't leave a tacky finish on the cheeks. It like dries down to a powder finish. It's honestly such a good formula that I will definitely keep reaching for this. So this is a huge purchase from me. The next one is a new release. This is from Makeup Forever. This is their Artist Sculpt and Precious Latte. This is more of like a contouring product than a bronzer. I feel like it has a little bit of a reddish undertone, kind of rosy for bare skin, which looks extremely nice. I feel like I have like 5 now that kind of have like this rosy undertone, and I always tend to reach for those ones that have the rosy undertone because I feel like it looks so much better on my skin than more neutral leaning or even more warm. So I've been highly enjoying this. I haven't fully tested the blush that also came out, and I did not pick up the highlighter, but as far as the Artist Sculpt goes, this is awesome. It is a purchase from me. The next one is not a new release. This one is from Makeup by Mitchell. This is one of his blushes, but it's basically like a liquid contour slash bronzer. This one is in Hollow there. This is basically a cream to powder formula. I love the shade. It has like this burntness about it. It looks a little bit rosy or red toned. I feel like I stay away from liquid bronzers a lot because they're just not super convenient, but because this is a cream to powder formula, it's so easy to blend in and it dries down like almost immediately. And there's just something about this particular shade on my skin tone that I feel like just looks super flattering. So I actually really highly recommend this as a purchase. And the final one is a new release. This one is an affordable option from LA Girl. This is one of their Velvet Bronzer Contour Sticks. I have mine in the shade Goddess. I hate this product. This is terrible. It's basically like a dark highlighter. It's so not pigmented. When it gets to my cheeks, I end up building and building, and then it's basically just this super metallic finish. It just doesn't look flattering on me. I don't understand the concept of making something so shimmery and metallic and calling it a bronzer slash contour stick. So this is a huge pass. Okay, we are on into my favorite category, which is blush. This is probably the biggest category. It's either this or lips, I can never remember. I have 13 different blushes. A lot of these are new releases, and I have done a full blush ranking of all the blushes that launched in 2023. So if you're interested in seeing how a lot of these apply, please go check out that video. I will try and link it up above. So I'm only gonna put on one today. Let me go into the one that I'm gonna put on first. This is a new release from Summer Fridays. This is called their Blush Balm Stick, and I have mine in the shade Dusty Rose. Favorite thing from Summer Fridays. It has good pigmentation for being a balm. It doesn't completely dry down, but it's not overly sticky. It's so easy to apply. As you can see, it just basically applies with super ease and you're done. It's not overly glowy. It's like this very, very slight sheen about it. It's just such a beautiful product. Highly recommend. The next two are, again, new releases. These are from Pat McGrath. She calls these her Divine Blush Legendary Glow Color Balms. The one that is more peach is in Peach Lotus, and the pinkier one is in Paradise Peony. I actually think these are pretty good. I've seen some pretty negative reviews on these. I think for a blush balm, they're decently pigmented. I think you can build these up. The thing that is different between these and the Summer Fridays ones is that these have a ton more sheen to them. They're much more emollient. They have a lot more gloss about them, but I think that they're beautiful on the cheeks for what they are. I don't expect a whole lot of pigmentation from a balm. I think of it being more like really glossy finish, just really juicy cheeks. I think the thing I like about these the least is kind of the cheap packaging. It does feel pretty cheap for the price point, especially for Pat McGrath, but I think the formula is really good. I think these are a purchase. I don't regret getting these, and I can definitely see myself reaching for these in the future. The next new release that I have is from Say. This is called their Glow Sculpt, and I have mine in the shade Peach Glow. These are refillable compacts, so it doesn't really take up the whole component, kind of sits in the middle of the component. So I feel like maybe they could have filled up more of the packaging, but overall the formula is exceptional. There is something so beautiful and different and unique about this formula. It's like pigmented, but it has this really nice like juiciness about it, and it's got a tiny bit of what I think of as like gold sparkles in the shade, and so it kind of looks like this super flushness about it on your cheeks, and I think they all kind of have that like gleam inside of the pigmentation, just those gold sparkles that make it so beautiful. So I think this is an exceptional product. The formula is also super easy to work with. It kind of dries down to a powder finish, to be honest. Even though it has like a little bit of sheen to it, it's still not a sticky formula once it dries down. Exceptional and purchase. The next two are also new releases. They're reformulations of the colorful blushes from Sephora. I have two different finishes. The one that's more mauve is called Self-Made. It is the matte formula. The one that is orange is called Shine Bright, and it's a shimmer finish. I think overall for a powder formula, these are really good. They're on the buildable side, but they're such a smooth formula that the buildable looks really, really airbrushed on the cheeks. The shimmer finish isn't really shimmery other than it has gold sparkles in it, and they're very, very light. Like once you apply it to the cheeks, the gold sparkles kind of diffuse out into nothing. So it's basically kind of a matte formula with little gold sparkles in it, not much more than that. But if you guys like a really buildable formula, these are really good. I don't know what they did to reformulate. They might have made these talc free. I'm not really sure what the difference was in the reformulation, but I wanted to give them a shot. I really enjoy these. I think these are a purchase. The next one that I have is from NYX. This is their Wonder Stick. It's a dual-ended cream blush stick. The one shade that's lighter or more bright pink is Baby Pink, and the other one is Light Peach. I think this is an overall really good matte formula cream stick. I have checked out the shade range in this line. I don't like any of the shades, and I don't agree that the deeper pink shade is peach in any way, so I think that's kind of deceiving, and you don't really get to see the shades very well when you purchase it because you can't really see it in this packaging. So overall, I think the shades in here are pretty bad, not my favorite. I like the formula, but I don't think of reaching for this like over some of my other stick ones. I think there are better ones, just to be honest with you guys. I think this is a pass, and for me, this is going to go into my makeup library. It is not going to stay in my permanent collection. The next one is also a new release. This one is from NARS. This is their Afterglow liquid blush, and I have mine in the shade Orgasm. I think it's pretty. I think it's nice and juicy. I think it's lightly pigmented, so I don't think you can build this up. I think it's just a couple of dots on the cheeks and blended in for a really natural, like juicy looking, kind of sun-kissed flushed finish. Don't expect more from this product, and don't expect to build it up because I don't think it has the capability to do that. Otherwise, I actually think it's really good. For what it is, I think it's really good. So I think this is a purchase, but I think you do have to like this kind of formula. You have to like the finish in order to enjoy this, because I don't think it's an overly versatile product. I think you kind of get this finish. Even though it's decently pigmented, this is basically what you get on the cheek. So for me, I liked it and I think it was a purchase. Let's just keep on with the NARS, and the next one that I have, again, also NARS. This is their Air Matte Blush in Orgasm. It's like a putty formula. I don't like it. It's not a product that really does what I kind of prefer in a blush. It's on the lighter side. All the time I try and put this on my cheeks and I blend in and I feel like, where did the pigment go? It basically just disappears into nothing. And for a putty formula, I kind of feel like it's just overly emollient. See, when you start to rub it in, the pigment just, it kind of dissipates. It goes into nothingville. So I just don't like it. Overly emollient, not enough pigmentation. I feel like it was trying to be shimmery. This is a pass. And I also feel like I'm going to put this in my closet for reference, but I'm not going to keep this in my permanent collection. And the next one, and the last one that I want to talk about from NARS, is the Multiple. And this one is in the shade South Beach. It's another formula from NARS that I really don't like. Again, it's kind of on the emollient, extra creamy side, and it basically blends into nothing. And basically all you're left with on your cheeks is this weird sheen that kind of casts a little bit gray. It might be a shade thing, but I don't like the formula either. Just not pigmented enough. Doesn't have that juiciness about it. It's like they tried to throw the juiciness in the pigment. I don't know, this was a huge miss from me, and it is a pass. It's gonna go straight into my closet because I'm not gonna declutter it in case I ever want to talk about like NARS blushes in the future, but I will not be reaching for this again. The next one that I have is from Benefit. This is their Butterfly blush in the new style packaging. I've never been a fan of Benefit blushes, and that might be a real hot take, but every one of the Benefit blushes that I have tried has been really lightly pigmented, mostly shimmery with like a lot of gold inside of the pigmentation, and not enough pigment for me. It always was very light on my cheeks. It seemed to not last very long, but I have been into orange blushes this year a lot. So I think I got this on the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty sale last year, or the last one that they have, and I'm pleasantly surprised. I do really like this one. Even though it does have gold in the pigmentation, it's very pigmented. So it's actually quite beautiful on the cheeks. It doesn't look like just straight gold on the cheeks. It actually gives you like a really nice shimmery finish. The formula is really nice and super smooth. Some of these box blushes I've found to be super hard pressed in there. Very difficult to get in with like a brush, especially because the smaller like minis that I've tried in the past, like getting a brush in there for a product that was super hard pressed was not easy. But this is the full size, just different packaging, much easier to get into. Really, really nice pigmentation, really nice formula, quite a long lasting blush. So that's a purchase from me. And also I want to mention, you guys, if you're into orange blushes, this one is one to check out. Like, its uniqueness definitely comes from the color itself, not just the formula. So if you're into that, this Butterfly one from Benefit is awesome. I have the next two from the drugstore, and neither of these are new releases. The next one is the more affordable option from Oma by Sharon C. This is her Flawless IRL blush in the shade Audacity. This is a run out and purchase for me. It's a cream formula. It's super pigmented. I tried the bronzer cream formula last year when it launched, but I didn't pick up the blush for whatever reason. So I decided to go back to CVS and get this. I am so glad that I got this. It's a $10 cream blush that's made in Italy. It's so beautiful, easy formula to work with. It dries down to like this powder finish. It never gets patchy. It's so beautiful. There's nothing complicated about the formula. It's just perfect, and I think for 10 bucks, it's a really, really good cream blush, so it's a purchase from me. The next one that I have, again from the drugstore, this is the last item from the Relove line from the full face that I tried. This is called the Baby Tint Lip and Cheek Tint. I have mine in the shade Blush. I think this is a really good product. There's obviously not a ton in it. I think this does retail for $2.98, at least here in the US. That's what I did purchase this for, so if you're on a budget, these are really good. This is more of a buildable formula, but it also has decent pigmentation, and it's kind of a staining formula as well. I think that's where the baby tint part comes in, and I do like this product for both the lips and cheeks. For a $2.98 blush, I think it's pretty decent. I think that I would rather reach for some of my other ones over this one, but again, if you're on a budget, it's a purchase. For me, I'm gonna keep it in my permanent collection, but I'm certain that I'm gonna forget about it over some of my more loved products and more expensive ones. The next two are also from the drugstore, and I think of reaching for these. These are from Flower Beauty. These are her blush balms. They're called Color Drops for Cheeks. The more vibrant shade is in Melon. The more terracotta shade is in Spiced. I think I've heard mixed reviews on these, but I think that they're absolutely fantastic. They're super pigmented, they're opaque. They basically dry down to like a matte finish, a little little bit goes a super long way. I just love the way that these look and the way that they apply on my cheeks. I think that they're fairly affordable, and honestly, I think she has some really good shades in the line. I know that this spiced one here is kind of unique. It's like terracotta, but almost mauve-y. I don't really have anything like either of these shades, maybe more so in the melon, but definitely not spice. So I think that these are a really good product and a purchase from me. The next one and final one is a new release from Urban Decay. This is their Hydromaniac Blush Glow Hydrator, and I have mine in the shade Wrecked. It's basically like a gel formula, so if you're into a gel formula, I think it's really good. It has decent pigmentation to it, and it's so juicy. It's one of my juiciest looking blushes that has good pigmentation. I don't think it's a hard formula to work with. I think it applies evenly. It doesn't get patchy. I don't think you need to build it because I think it gives you good pigment right away, but so juicy. Wasn't expecting to like this one as much as I did. This is a purchase from me. Okay, we are on into highlighters. One is a new release and one isn't. The one that isn't is another one from Makeup by Mitchell. This is one of the Liquid Blush highlighters in the shade Champagne Spray. I actually think it's a really beautiful shade. What I don't like about this formula is that you can't take the doe foot applicator and blend directly onto your cheeks. I do have to apply this to the back of my hand and kind of tap it onto my cheeks because I feel like it sits on top of powder. If you set your face, it actually starts to patch up if you use the doe foot applicator directly to your face. I like the overall effect if I just tap it in with my fingers. I think it's really beautiful. It's not like overly punchy. It kind of looks like a lit from within glow. It's like kind of a luminizer. I actually really like the shade too. It's almost kind of peachy for being champagne. It doesn't dry down to a fully matte finish though, so it does have a little bit of leftover stick to it. I actually really do like this product, and I think it's a recommendation if you use it the way that I have found that it works best for application purposes. So for that reason, I think it's a purchase. This next one is a new release. This one is from the indie brand Cara Beauty. This is one of the Dye For You illuminating powders, and this is in Fluorescent Rose. It's a really interesting shade. It's one of my favorite pink colors, but once it gets to the cheeks, it almost looks like it has a hint of yellow or gold to it. I have to say, I think this is probably one of my favorite pinky powder highlighters. I just think that the shade overall is beautiful in Fluorescent Rose. It's a really good powder formula. It's just quite a unique shade. So for me, I think it's a purchase. We are on into my numerous number of lip products here, and most of these I honestly do like. Let me talk about some new releases from Prada Beauty first. Prada just launched, I want to say 3 different types of lip products. The Balm, Monochrome, Soft Matte Lipstick, and then they came out with a Hyper Matte. I have the Balm and the Soft Matte one. The Balm is pretty terrible overall. It doesn't have any real hydrating properties about it and has a very strong floral scent that gets into your mouth. It's a high price point for basically not at all anything that I would find a use in. So the Balm for me is a huge pass. However, I feel like the Soft Matte one is very nice, although it is again very highly fragrant, but it's a very nice soft matte formula. So if you wanted to try out Prada Beauty, I think the soft matte formula is good if you can stand fragrance in the products. Otherwise, I kind of feel like this was a splurge item, definitely something that I picked up to test out Prada Beauty. I will reach for this again. I do think it is a good shade. The Balm is universal, but the shade, I'm not exactly sure what shade I have in the lipstick, but I will list it in the description box. So if you're interested in Prada Beauty, I can recommend the soft matte formula if you're into luxury beauty product. The next one is also a new release. This one is from BH Cosmetics. This is called their 411 Lip Glaze. It's a shimmer lip gloss, and it's in the shade Pap. I love me like a holographic shimmery lip gloss, so I think this is a really good purchase. That is why I got this one. So beautiful when it gets to the lips. I love that holographicness because I think it makes your lips look so much more juicy, so I highly recommend this. This is a purchase from me. The next one that I have, I feel like they're kind of phasing out. This one is from Too Faced. This is called their Heartcore Lipstick. I have mine in the shade Never Grow Up. I think the packaging is cute. I think the formula is very soft and shiny and pretty. The reason that I said that I think they're phasing this out is because it was for sale on Ulta, and then I did pick this up in TJ Maxx, so usually that kind of means that they're phasing these out. Of course, I could be wrong, but it's really pretty overall packaging. The formula is very comfortable. It has a lot of opacity. Not bad at all. I do recommend these. I think you can get similar ones from the drugstore, less expensive than Too Faced, but I still think it's a purchase for what it is. Let's talk about an affordable option. I have reviewed some of these in my last video because this came in a set. These are from Juvia's Place. These are their Magic Lip Oils. The other two that I'm not showing you guys came in red and orange, but the yellow one is in the shade Mango, the green one is in the shade Honeydew, and the blue one is in blueberries. I reviewed the other two because I had tested those ones first, and I had a little bit of criticism, not with the formula, but how much product actually came in the tubes. These actually have more in these ones than they did in the red and orange, but even then, they come with like so much extra space, even when you have the doe foot applicator in there, and I haven't used them that often. So it's a little bit of a jip on how much they didn't include in here. Otherwise, the formula is super smooth, it's non-sticky. Pigmentation on these is so slight, but they do have a little bit, even for the green and blue, that still is super flattering. So if you get yours that have more product in it than mine did, and they don't like have all this extra space, then I think they're a purchase. I'm really into lip oils right now. I think a lot of us are. Just super non-sticky, high shine, beautiful. The next one that I have is from a indie brand out of the UK, and this is from Eunique Beauty. This is one of their liquid lipsticks in Niger. Guys, if you want a high shine, super opaque liquid lip that isn't drying whatsoever, this is it. This is such a vampy, pigmented lip product with super high shine. It was the photos of this that got me to buy it when I was on their website placing an order for eyeshadows, but it is the most pigmented glossy liquid lip that I have ever tried ever. So if you guys are into that, so good. Some really, really vibrant colors on these. So I think this is a purchase. You do have to pay for shipping because they do only have their online storefront, but if you happen to be on their website to place an order for any of their eyeshadows, I would recommend getting one of these if you're into this kind of product. The next one that I have is not a new release. It is from Rare Beauty. This is one of her like soft matte lip creams. I have mine in the shade Courage. I think it's a good lip cream formula. I think it's very soft and comfy and airy and pillowy on the lips. I even really like the shade, but it's drying. It definitely looks super dry on my lips. This is not a product that I can leave on by itself. It's a product that I would have to top with a gloss. So honestly, this is a pass for me because I have other lip creams that aren't as drying as this formula. In fact, I purchased this to compare it against the new soft matte lip creams that just came out from Sephora, and I do prefer those better. So let's just move right into that one. So it's the Soft Matte and Easy lip cream from Sephora. I have mine in the shade 04. This is an interesting formula because it's a smooth matte lip color, but it says that it's a soft matte. What I find this formula to be like is like a lip cream with like a tiny bit of gloss on top of it. It's really pretty. It's actually quite hydrating for what it is. It has decent pigmentation to it, and it leaves this gloss or like shine on the lips. It's kind of a unique formula. I actually think these are really good. There's not a lot in here, like compared to a lot of other products, and even the Rare Beauty, like the size difference is pretty significant. I think that this is another hit from Sephora. I haven't tried a lip product from them that I don't like, so this is a purchase from me. The next one that I have is not a new release, but everything after that is. This one is from Patrick Ta. This is one of his Major Glow lip shines. This one is in She's an Influencer. Quite obsessed with this product. The little glitters in here are so pretty. Again, it's like the BH Cosmetics one, that it's like this iridescent gloss that makes your lips look super juicy. I just really enjoy this. I'm not really even sure what made me pick this up. I was probably in stores when I saw this, and that's what made me buy it. That happens when I go to stores. So glad that I picked this up. I've gotten compliments when wearing this. I think this is a huge purchase. Let me go ahead and show you the next ones that I'm going to throw on. These are two new releases from Hourglass. The lighter shade is in Rise. The darker mauvey shade is in Desire. I am currently obsessed with the shade Desire. It's like an amplified version of my lip color. These are so glossy and so beautiful. They are the kind that you twist up and can't put back down. That's just the kind of component that we get with this formula. It is a slight plumping lip balm. These are called the Phantom Volumizing Lip Gloss or something along those lines. They're not on here, so I kind of forget a little bit, but of course I will list it in the description box. I like the shade in Rise. It's more my kind of lip color, and so it basically looks like just a gloss on my lips, where the one in Desire gives me more pigmentation. I saw short on these, and that's what made me pick them up because they're just so glossy, and I was not disappointed. It's so beautiful. It's like a thick formula that isn't goopy. Oh, it's so beautiful. I love the shade Desire. Huge recommendation from me. The next one is from Charlotte Tilbury. This is one of her airbrush lip blurs, I think is what they're called. I have mine in the shade Rose Blur. This is one of the few products that I have in my collection that's actually like a blurring lip stain. It's so pillow-like when it gets to the lips. It really blends out beautifully. You can totally rub this in until it's solid matte finish on your lips. It's quite beautiful without being drying. Again, I was in store when I picked this up, so I wasn't really going to purchase these, but I am glad that I got it. I wish that I could have picked up Pillow Talk because I think Rose Blur is a little bit deep. But man, when I blend it in with my finger to just pat it out, really just to blend it in with my lips, it is so beautiful and it lasts 5 hours. I just top it with a gloss, lock it in, and I think it's really, really pretty. So I think that one is a purchase from me. The next one is a new release from Valentino. This is called their Licoroso Liquid Lipstick. I have mine in the shade 110A, which is Into the Nude, a nude mauve. The way that these are marketed on Sephora's website is the Licoroso 2-in-1 Soft Matte Liquid Lipstick and Blush. But if you actually look at the component itself, it only says liquid lipstick. I tried this as blush. It's freaking terrible. It's like a stain, but it's like patchy. It's like a mousse formula that like completely fades away decent pigmentation, and it looks flat on the cheeks. Oh, it's just not good on the cheeks. On the lips though, it's very, very beautiful. But again, it's Valentino out here creating a product that's pretty expensive. These do retail for $40 a piece. That is small. Like all of Valentino's stuff I have tried seems to be on the smaller side. So for $40, I can get this in a different lip product. I think it's good and I enjoyed reaching for it for the lips, but it doesn't wow me because it's marketed as a 2-in-1 and it only works for one. I find that though in a lot of those lip blush products that I'm just not a fan of using it as a dual product. I think for lips it's alright, but I would never repurchase this. I feel like this will end up being makeup graveyard. I won't remember to reach for it. Two more and both of these are so good. So this one is from Summer Fridays. This is one of their new lip butter balms. I have mine in the shade Vanilla Beige. There's so many good things about this product. Number one, I think it's a really good formula. It's nice and hydrating. It's a little bit of a sticky formula for being a balm, but it's so beautiful on the lips. The next thing is it's such a large amount of product for what you pay for it. I love that it's not a tiny little balm. The third thing is this packaging. This component is fantastic. It has like a curved dip for the lip applicator, and this is like a rubbery malleable component, so it's very smooth and comfortable on the lips. It's not hard. I wonder what went into like testing this and going, I want a rubbery top, I want it to be not a perfect angle, but I want it to like hug the lips and make sure you give it a lot of product. So this is a 10 out of 10 for me. I think this is a really, really good product in terms of formulation and components, so purchase. And this next one really surprised me. This was from Milk. This is one of their Odyssey lip oil glosses in the shade Work Trip. I was not expecting to like this. I think I kind of got it to go, okay, well, I like Milk makeup products. Let me get this new release. But they call it an oil gloss. So it's super smooth like an oil, but it's a little bit sticky like a gloss. It's just perfectly balanced in between, and so I can see why they named it oil gloss. I love this shade too. It's super like my lips but better. I love the high shine-ness about it. It's not overly sticky. It actually came with more products than I was anticipating. You know, Milk makeup comes out with kind of smaller items, so this was like fairly big for what I was expecting and kind of a big tube anyway. So I don't know, there's just something about this. It's like a hybrid lip oil slash gloss, which is what I feel like I like in my life. So this really surprised me. I loved reaching for this. This is a purchase from me. Whew, boy, if you guys are still hanging on in there, whew, 50 items. I was certain I had a lot less this month than I have had in other months. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you guys have tried any of these products, I'd love to hear in the comments how they've worked for you or didn't work for you. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I am out of here and I hope to catch you all in my next video. Bye guys.